What's up, guys? Welcome to day 31, the last day of January, which is also the last day of as we finish the book of Job today. So we'll be starting in Job chapter 40, verse 6, where God continues to challenge Job. Then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind, "Brace yourself like a man, because I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. You will discredit my justice, or will you discredit my justice and condemn me just to prove you are right? Are you as strong as God? Can you thunder with a voice like his? All right, put on your glory and splendor, your honor and majesty. Give vent to your anger, let it overflow against the proud. Humiliate the proud with a glance, walk on the wicked where they stand, bury them in the dust, imprison them in the world of the dead. Then even I would praise you, for your own strength will save you. Take a look at Behemoth, which I made, just as I made you. It eats grass like an ox. See its powerful loins and the muscles of its belly. Its tail is as strong as a cheddar. The sinews of its thighs are knit tightly together. Its bones are tubes of bronze. Its limbs are bars of iron. It is a prime example of God's handiwork, and only its creator can threaten it. The mountains offer it their best food, where all the wild animals play. It lies under the lotus plants, hidden by the reeds in the marsh. The lotus plants give it shade among the willows beside the stream. It is not disturbed by the raging river, not concerning when the swelling Jordan rushes around it. No one can catch it off guard or put a ring in its nose and lead it away. Chapter 41. Can you catch Leviathan with a hook, or put a noose around its jaw? Can you tie it with a rope through the nose, or pierce its jaw with a spike? Will it beg you for mercy, or implore you for pity? Will it agree to work for you, to be your slave for life? Can you make it a pet like a bird, or give it to your little girls to play with? Will merchants try to buy it to sell it in their shops? Will its hide be hurt by spears, or its head by a harpoon? If you lay a hand on it, you will certainly remember the battle that follows. You won't try that again. No, it is useless to try to capture it. The hunter who attempts it will be knocked down. And since no one dares to disturb it, who then can stand up to me? Who has given me anything that I need to pay back? Everything under heaven is mine. I want to emphasize Leviathan's limbs, and its enormous strength and graceful form. Who can strip off its hide, and who can penetrate its double layer of armor? Who can pry open its jaws? For its teeth are terrible. The scales on its back are like rows of shields, tightly sealed together. They are so close together that no air can get between them. Every scale sticks tight to the next. They interlock and cannot be penetrated. When it squeezes, it flashes light. Its eyes are like the red of dawn. Lightning leaps from its mouth. Flames of fire flash out. Smoke streams from its nostrils, like streams from a pot heated over burning rushes. Its breath would kindle coals, for flames shoot from its mouth. The tremendous strength in Leviathan's neck strikes terror whenever it goes. Its flesh is hard and firm and cannot be penetrated. Its heart is hard as rock, hard as a millstone. When it rises, the mighty are afraid, gripped by terror. No sword can stop it, no spear, dart, or javelin. Iron is nothing but straw to that creature, and bronze is like rotten wood. Arrows cannot make it flee. Stones shot from his sling are like bits of grass. Clubs are like a blade of grass, and it laughs at the swish of javelins. Its belly is covered with scales as sharp as glass. It blows up the ground as it drags through the mud. Leviathan makes the water boil with its commotion. It stirs the depths like a pot of ointment. The water glistens in its wake, making the sea look white. Nothing on earth is its equal. No other creature is so fearless. Of all the creatures, it is the proudest. It is the king of its beasts, or the king of beasts. Chapter 42. Then Job replied to the Lord, I know that you can do anything, and no one can stop you. You asked, who is this that questioned my wisdom with such ignorance? It is I, and I was talking from things I knew nothing about, things far too wonderful for me. You said, listen and I will speak. I have some questions for you, and you must answer them. I have only heard about you before, but now I have seen you with my own eyes. I take back everything I said, and I sit in dust and ashes to show my repentance. Chapter 42. We're still in chapter 42. After the Lord had finished speaking to Job, he said to Eliphaz the Temanite, I am angry with you and your 2 friends, for you have not spoken accurately about me, as my servant Job has. So take 7 bulls and 7 rams and go to my servant Job and offer a burnt offering for yourselves. My servant Job will pray for you, and I will accept his prayer on your behalf. I will not treat you as you deserve, for you have not spoken accurately about me, as my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite did as the Lord commanded them, and the Lord accepted Job's prayers. That when Job prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes. In fact, the Lord gave him twice as much as before. Then all his brothers, sisters, and former friends came and feasted with him in his home. And they consoled him and comforted him because of all the trials the Lord has brought against him. Each of them brought him a gift of money and a gold ring. So the Lord blessed Job in the second half of his life even more than in the beginning. For now he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 teams of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. He also gave Job 7 more sons and 3 more daughters. He named his first daughter Jemima, the second Kazariah, and the third Kerem Happuch. In all the land no women were as lovely as the daughters of Job, and their father put them into his will along with their brothers. Job lived 140 years after that, living to see 4 generations of his children and grandchildren. Then he died, an old man who had lived a long, full life. And so we just finished. It's been quite a book, to be honest. I feel like I learned a lot more from the book than I ever thought I would possibly, to be honest. But yeah, to kind of go back to God continually challenging Job. It kind of repeats the same thing, to be honest. God just like highlights his magnificence, like his great power, and kind of make Job look very small, which is like obviously true because it's like we are tiny considered. We are smaller than ants to God. That's how small we are. Yet still God pays so much attention to us. But yeah, no, yeah, I felt like, yeah, he just talks about how like there's this creature called Leviathan, which I'm trying to see what that is. It's an earthly creature to a mythical sea monster in ancient literature. So I guess it's like some sort of, I mean, I know it's like some kind of creature, but I guess it's almost, it says it's like earthly creature in a mythical sea monster. So it's a sort of monster that like no humans can stop because of how powerful the monster is. But at the same time, it's like God literally created the creature, and so God has all the power to he has full control of this creature's whole existence, basically, just to show how like we humans cannot even deal with that, let alone while God, it takes very little effort for God to take care of that creature that we humans do not know how to take care of or how to defeat it, I guess. But yeah, that's what basically it's about. So kind of like a repetition of the previous day, I think, to be honest. But yeah, I just wonder, and then Job, this is interesting. What was it? No, yeah, this is interesting when in verse 3 of chapter 42, where he says, "You ask, who is this that questions my wisdom with such ignorance? It is I, and I was talking from things I knew nothing about, things far too wonderful for me." That just like kind of humbled, like you could see the change within Job, because like before he talks in ways where he seems to know everything about God, and now it's like all of a sudden like a sense of humbleness, a true sense of humbleness where he wished that he has taken everything back that he said, and he wants to repent of what he said. And I felt like with that, it's like I want to make this kind of me too, because it's like I feel like I've been kind of too harsh on Job. I feel like I'm being a lot more harsh on Job than anyone else, and I want to apologize for that. It's like I feel like I'm one of his friends, to be honest, who kind of talks out of ignorance. I mean, not really ignorance as much as like lack of understanding of who God is. And I feel like I kind of did that a lot throughout this book. So I want to apologize for that. Obviously, I was not trying to disrespect Job in any way, because like Job is like after reading this, it helps me realize like Job really is a righteous man, because while God is what is it called? While God is like correcting Job's friends, he says how like I'm very angry with you and your two friends, for you have not spoken accurately about me as my servant has. It's like maybe some of the things that Job has said about God is true. And I think that's the kind of our life. That's kind of our life. Is like we have to discern what is considered as what did Job say that are right versus what are the things that he has said that's incorrect in a sense. But yeah, I just want to apologize for my lack of spiritual maturity to being so harsh on him and things. But yeah, no, the part, yeah, and then so God's like rebuking his friends. And he said, and in verse 8, where he says, I will not treat you as you deserve. It's like that's like the whole character of God. It's like God is like Job said, it's like things are too wonderful for me to explain. It's like God's love for us is beyond anything we can ever imagine. We don't have any words to describe the type of love that God has, because he treats us with like so much respect, so much love, even though he is like the creator. He could be snuffing us out, like destroying us with just one word. But the fact that he has not done that yet, and not only that, but like also like we have sinned so much in our lifetime. Yet God is still gracious enough. God is still gracious where he still forgives us even through our worst sins. It just really shows the magnificence of God and things. So the only thing that it's interesting about this last section is like how the book never mentions after God starts speaking in the book of Job, they did not mention what happened to Elihu anymore, which is kind of interesting. So but yeah, to kind of end the book, it says how like God blessed him even more than what he has started off with in the beginning of the book. It just shows like, I feel like it just shows like the more you give up, the more you give your life to God, the more blessing he will give you. Maybe not like money wise or financial wise, but like inner peace or inner joy. It's like, I feel like that's kind of like the bigger blessing. It's like we all, before we know God, we try to find things of this world that could keep us happy, keep us content. But when we submit our life to God, he may not, that's going to require us to sacrifice something that we hold really dear to. But in doing that, God bless us even more, because we have finally decided to submit our life to God and things. So yeah, I felt, no, like I said, I feel guilty. It's like this is the thing about God. It's like God is not an experiment where we can just figure it out, because God is like, God gave us, I feel like God gave us a whole lifetime so that we can learn from him, learn about him every single day, every single second. And while doing that, we also should help others to get to know God as well. And so I'm just trying my best, guys, to follow God to the best of my abilities and stuff. And I'm sure that's who many of you guys are, who are just trying to follow God to the best of our abilities, but at the same time making mistakes, assuming God to be one way while he may not be at all. So yeah, but yeah, that's the end of Book of Job. And so yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for joining with me on this little trip through the Book of Job. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you guys are able to learn a couple things throughout this book. But yeah, tomorrow we will start Exodus. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this book. I'm looking forward to, like, I don't know, for me it's like each time when I start reading the Bible, it's like I feel this inner peace, because it's like I feel like God speaks to me through these texts and stuff. And so that's something I will always be grateful for, but also at the same time I want to have the discernment that I need to discern what is right and wrong within these texts and stuff, so that I don't make wrong assumptions about God and things. So yeah, just please pray for me to keep asking God to give me wisdom, as I'm just trying to be the best follower of Christ as I possibly can, and also helping others to get to know God as well. So yeah, may you guys go and walk with God.